know you, but I don't know how. Cause every time I bump right into you, I get all tongue-tied. Want you to know me, but I'm way too shy. I can't just go around admitting that it's you I like. I wish that I had guts enough to flirt a little, but I'm too scared I'll fail. I wish that I could listen to the voice inside me, a voice that always says, give it a go, don't waste your time, cause you're running out. Give it a go and ask around, only takes a try, yeah. Even if she tells you no, then at least you know. So give it a go, give it a go. I just can't read you when you pass me by. Sometimes you look my way and say my name and I turn around, but when I see you, you just walk on by. It's like you wanna talk but get caught off by your own mind. I wish that I had guts enough to flirt a little, but I'm too scared I'll fail. I wish that I could listen to the voice inside me, a voice that always says, give it a go, don't waste your time, cause you're running out. Give it a go and ask around, only takes a try, yeah. Even if she tells you no, then at least you know. So give it a go, give it a go.
All right, let's do a mic check. Mic check for everyone in the pre-show.
I wish that I had guts enough to flirt a little, but I'm too scared.
All right, thank you, Stephanie Carbno.
I wish that I could listen to the voice inside me, a voice that always says,
We got Milo and Toasted Me, or Milo, Magic Durgan, Linda, Hankeveld. Sorry, I was
Holly Donut, Cornflower Blue, Queen
Nico
Nova
Minis.
Dolls, and we have said Stephanie Carbno is with us. W. Corden is here. Oh, Shy, first time in a stream, I guess.
Nice, welcome. I don't think we announced what's happening tonight.
No,
so
we didn't.
I guess it'll be a surprise. But you shall see soon. We're gonna pop off of here and let you enjoy some lovely pictures while you wait. And hey, Ruth.
I bet you'll come around, but don't get me wrong. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. I feel it in my bones like you'll come along now. Baby, you coming through. Do what you gotta do. Take it to the big scene. Take it all. Go for hope and glory. Go, go long. Baby, for love, go all for love. We're going for love, for beating hearts off the charts. Love, go all for love. We're going for love, baby, going for love, baby, for love. I bet you'll get it right, but don't get me wrong. Say what you gotta say. Say what you gotta say. Go like a satellite, just go like a star now. Say what you gotta say. Say what you gotta say. Take it to the big scene, take it all. Go for hope and glory. Go, go long. Baby, for love, go all for love. We're going for love, for beating hearts off the charts. Love, go all for love. We're going for love, baby, going for love, baby, for love. Take it
When I'm sleeping with someone new, I just close my eyes and think of you. When I'm sleeping with someone new, I can't help myself, I wanna hit you. Still feel the way I feel when somebody calls you mine. Are you sleeping with someone new? Someone new, when I'm sleeping with someone new, I just close my eyes and think of you. When I'm sleeping with someone new.
Got a dopamine rush, got a major league crush when you're next to me. Got my heart upon my sleeve, can I hide the way I feel when you're next to me, girl? Got the kick in every move and I fought it's like a fool for you, for you. Wish I knew just what it was, but why should I make a fuss? Just stay next to me, girl.
It's your duty to pay your duty.
Duty.
It's Monday, March 20th, and this is your Smart Doll News.
So, welcome back, everybody. We've got a really fun show tonight.
Yeah.
Some surprises. Well, not a surprise, apparently, if you read, because I put it in the description. But if you didn't read the description, it may be a surprise. We've got a special guest here. But before we get to that, we got to give a special shout out to our super smarties.
W. Corden and Queen Nova Dolls, thank you so much for your support.
Yes, we cannot thank you enough. Your ongoing support is really, really helps keep the channel up and running. Now, we've got a guest here. As I said, they're going to help us go through the news tonight. This is the first time. This is a first for us in the Smart Doll News.
So hopefully it goes over well.
Yep, I apologize in advance to both the viewers and to our guest, who is Shizu-san.
Yay, she's a son!
Hello, chat. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, we are so happy to have you. This has been a long time coming, hasn't it? We talked about this
Yes.
Months ago.
at least like 6
Yes.
months ago, I want to say.
We have talked about this quite a lot.
Yeah, we have been there we go. We have been discussing this for quite some time. It's taken me a while to get the yes, show off your girl.
Yeah, who you got with you?
Oh, the girl that's been waiting 3 years to make her appearance. I have Moment in Tea
Oh my God, she's
with
beautiful.
me today. I know, she's gorgeous.
If she ever leaves you, tell me. Because
I will
Moment
let
is
you-
my girl crush.
Wait, if she ever
I will let
leaves
you
him?
know.
If she's ever going to leave him.
I was like, it's too late if she left him. I'm assuming you want her. We have, I will pop over on our cam. Where is it? I've changed everything around here now. We, of course, have lovely Miss Future,
the girl of the hour.
the girl of the hour, and in Cinnamon. And yes, she's gorgeous. She's got some special pants on as well, which we'll get to later.
Special pants.
She's wearing my special pants. Shizu-san, for those who do not know you and what you do and your content, you want to give everyone a rundown?
Yeah, sure. So for everybody in chat that is not familiar with me, I go by the name Shizu-san on my channel, And basically, I just talk about all different kinds of doll stuff that I run into in my life, my adventures, things that I do. So every other Friday, I do my own version of the news where I talk about smart dolls, but also Dolphy Dreams, A-Zone dolls, and whatever other kind of dolls kind of like pique my interest. And then on the off days that I'm not doing news, I usually have a show called Beyond the Doll, where it's basically a podcast / vodcast where I talk about various different topics, and every now and then I have guests as well to talk about stuff.
We've actually been on Beyond the Doll.
Right. We also had my Lady Disdain, John and Sandy's on there, which was a very fun and long episode, I believe.
It was a long... See, this is the mistake you made was asking us to talk. Like, it's just, it won't stop. I mean, we have to try so hard every week just to make sure that this stream doesn't hit like 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do it. I really don't, because I noticed that you guys usually keep somewhere around like 50 to an hour at most, kind of thing.
I don't think we've ever gone over an hour and a half.
Hour and a half was what it used to be. I've started removing chunks. Like, we don't do behind the scenes every week if there's enough news. It's more of a filler now. But yeah, we try to get it shorter now just so people actually watch it. I know everyone in the live stream wants to like just stay here all night.
They'd hang out with us all night.
But the replay is, we try and make it watchable for people. So, and it's easier, like when it's just us two and we get in a rhythm, it's easier to do that. When it's with a guest, I have a feeling, like right now, we've already gone, blown away 10 minutes. Or no, that'd be 5. I'm looking at the wrong clock.
Did you say what I think you said? Never mind.
So, we are going to talk news, and there's a chunk of news this week. I know you've already talked about this a little bit on your channel, but I'm definitely looking forward to get your input on these stories. So let's get into the headlines.
Right.
Let's also change there. So first up, we had, this is the wrong one. All right, I've got it. See, now I messed it all up. Up and up. Okay. There's the first news. We've got some new patterns this week.
Mm-hmm. He didn't do any dollops or grops, as he says.
Which are new terms as of like a week ago. Mm-hmm. Well, not grops. He's been saying drops
for a while.
For gray drops.
Dollops is when a doll drops.
So that's normal drop. Or I guess it's a because if he's just dropping some accessories, he wouldn't do a
right,
dollop.
It wouldn't be a dollop.
You're okay. We need to build a glossary at this point.
I know, it's
well,
almost
actually,
like...
Danny discusses that. So.
It's almost like we're coming up with our own doll language here.
Yep.
Danny actually discussed that in his post of the maps today, that we have some lingo that would let us know, like when we were amongst other smart doll people.
Oh, right.
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 So, what do we got, Sandy?
So he uploaded some more free apparel patterns, the tube skirt, the women's suit, and the capri pants.
So that's these, the capris, which those are the special pants I was alluding to.
Yeah, Miranda is wearing the capri pants. The women's suit, which is exciting, and then that's the tube skirt.
Well, talk about the suit.
Okay, so the women's suit is very exciting. You get two very useful pieces. Everybody that watches this stream knows how into like being able to pull things apart and piece them with other things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is like taking it, the fact that you're making your own is taking it even further, so you can do a mix and match set that you can use. Then we have the tube skirt, which we happen to have gotten,
in an Utter Chaos bundle?
No, we got it from Thomas when we bought all that stuff.
Because it's an older
It's
pattern.
an older piece, yeah. It's normally made in like a nice lightweight stretchy jersey, so if it's a really good easy piece for
the
that.
tube skirt is the one that I've always wanted to get, and unfortunately it was discontinued at smartdoll. So now that the pattern's out, I gotta find someone to make one for me.
There you go.
Hey, Jeff, I actually have
Yes.
like several yards of that kind of jersey in different colors that I got from Danny.
Oh wow! Oh, you must have got it from the Chaos things,
I
right?
got it from Utter Chaos. I've got like I've got the aqua that was used for the Statue of Liberty costume, and I've got a like a royal blue.
Ooh.
And it's this pretty much the same fabric that skirt is made out of.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Can't wait to see what you make with them.
Which is that the one you're looking forward to most?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that was one of the things that I wanted to get, and I just never got around to it.
I think I love the fact that the capris are out because one of my favorite pieces is those floral capris, and I
Yeah.
love the idea of being able to make these in whatever fabric.
I
you
want to make
want.
some plaid ones or like
Yeah.
gingham. Like
Yep.
yeah, those
Oh, that would be
very
interesting.
cute.
Get like
summer.
a Sunday golfing kind of attire going on.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Or sort of a, I don't know, like a Persona 5 sort of school uniform thing.
Yeah, the plaid capris with like a biker jacket.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We also have some new 3D files. The
Support socket.
yes, the support socket. This is the Evolve
Right.
Frame support socket. What I don't quite understand. Now we know Michaela Frost has actually already printed this and tried it out and done it. What I'm wondering is like how easy is it? It looked like she swapped an existing one onto an old one.
Onto an old body. Yeah. I think that's why it's there.
Oh, so okay, so that if you, so I guess this isn't. I just wonder, is this the actual piece he uses, and it's somehow backwards compatible with the old ones, or what?
I'm not sure.
I don't know because I haven't actually had a chance to get my hands on one of the new frames yet. I will at some point in the future, but my assumption is that you may be able to swap it out. But I really
I
honestly
believe
don't
that's
know.
what she did. Yeah, I'd be interested to know like how does it work exactly? I'll have to read through her post a little bit more. And then this is one that I was actually really hoping for, but now has gone has been shunted to the side, put on the back burner because of the plus size bodies that he's working on that we talked about last week. The Adventurer bust, which is kind of that. It's like a regular bust that has more cleavage. Basically, it doesn't have that really spread, cleavage that they come with. It's sort of somewhere in between.
Yeah, it's not the push up and it's not the
Right.
not the
It's
not a
standard.
medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the push up, as nice it is, I think I have two of them already. It's a bit aggressive, if I can even say that much.
It's made for corsets. That's why I wanted them.
This is coming from the guy who has Dolphy dreams. Like how many dynamites do you have, Jeff?
In my defense, only one. I only have one because I wanted to see what it's like to have a dynamite. And they are
And now he knows.
they are very, very mature, so to speak.
Let's see if there's. He did say that you want to be very aware of sizing. That these may not be the right size, in a 3D file to be printed. So you're going to have to do some experimentation with getting them
Right.
printed right,
Don't-
and that goes for all of the 3D patterns.
Don't assume that your first print is going to be perfect.
Yeah. He also mentions that people, basically that people are saying that the free patterns are putting pattern makers out of business. And I cannot, for the life of me, imagine how any pattern maker would be put out of business by the stuff, even if they have the same things, like they were making essentially patterns of those things. They're probably easier to make than these things.
Yeah.
The closed patterns in here are not, I would say, definitely not beginner patterns.
No, I mean you can do it if you're diligent about it and aware that you're going to make some mistakes and stuff. But and just get your seam ripper out. But no, they're not. And there are so many other clothing styles that Danny doesn't do.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, I mean, there's actually categories that I wish there were more of, like more like retro fashion and stuff like that. You know, like that. That's great.
Yeah, he tends to go through phases. Like, if you remember in the very beginning of Smart Doll, a lot of his stuff was kind of like modern fashion, I guess you could say, with like the jeans and like the tops.
It's all,
kind
all
of
the
like
stuff that I just look at in the videos and drool over.
yeah, it's like very modern-y fashion. And then he kind of got into making a couple dresses, a couple cosplay stuff. And then now he's just really dead set focus on a lot of like post-apocalyptic things. That seems to be his like jive right now.
with a little Maury girl, like
Yeah, he's got some Maury girl going on
Yeah, with a
now,
little bit of Maury girl
softer.
going in.
The one thing I did want to mention, he has said, you know, is there any other patterns that you want that I can make available? I did ask him, even though I kind of figured the answer myself, if any of the Isatan stuff could be made available, and he said he doesn't own
Right.
it, so he'd get in trouble.
Yeah.
So he,
Yeah,
so for those of you who else like me wanted to make that adorable sailor uniform outfit, it's Isatan and it won't be made available.
But a lot of those are pretty close, I feel, to stuff that he like you've got the summer uniform, right? You've got the like
Yeah, but this was like a short skirt and like a pullover top with long sleeves.
okay.
Very modern looking sailor.
And what do you call that part that kind of goes over the shoulder? I don't know what that's called. Of the sailors.
The yoke and the collar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all right, well, I cannot wait to see people making these, and I also definitely will want to be trying to get the adventure bust into when I find a good like flexible resin to use to try printing that adventure bust. Let's move on to our next story. We have the first of two kind of issues that Danny has talked about this week. And this is people, Future in Tea came out, people bought her, and when he released a second round of Future in Cinnamon, people started trying to return and swap Future in Tea.
I hope I'm not responsible for some of that.
For the
What do you
obsession,
mean?
for the obsession over cinnamon.
Yeah, because I'm always saying cinnamon is the color to have. I mean, and I love my gray and my blue, but she just, there is something about her in cinnamon, and you know, so I really hope that people didn't mess with Danny, because
I think you can be absolved of blame. I mean, she's what would you say to the people who were trying to return? You know, who in that moment they've just purchased one doll and realized that the doll they really wanted came out like the next day.
Yeah, I was a little confused about that whole situation, and I mentioned it in my other video. It's just that if you like a doll, you know, that's great. You know, everybody has a doll that speaks to them, that, you know, really resonates with them, and you're like, I want this doll. So normally, and this hobby is not like the cheapest of hobbies, and clearly there is a lot more expensive hobbies, but you do shell out a good amount of money for them. So at least in my opinion, like when I go to purchase a doll, like I really think long and hard about it. Like, do I really want this? You know, does she speak to me or whatever? And you know, I just wasn't sure why an individual would purchase a cinnamon skin tone, you know, if their real dream or like their real wish is to have a tea version of that girl. I mean, you could make the argument, I guess, for right. I mean, you can make the argument that, you know, maybe it's FOMO. Maybe, you know, you're thinking maybe he may not release you know, Future in Cinnamon, and he's only going to release in Tea, and so that's why you bought the bullet, because you didn't want to miss out on, you know, maybe it's not going to come back.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, I can understand that, but at the same time, let's say you made that mistake, I just feel like you kind of have to own up to it. You know what I mean? Like, I purchased it, and you know, I'm going to keep it and see if maybe she still speaks to me, or, you know, I fall in love with her even more than getting a cinnamon one, and I just end up loving the tea.
My
I don't know.
thing on it is if you know that it's Mirai, you know she's probably gonna come back and restock in cinnamon.
Well, we're also in a different place than we have been. Like there's like two parts to this. There is the how did you get into this situation, and then how did you handle the situation.
Right.
The getting into the situation to some extent I get, like because we've been in this like famine, if you will, for dolls, and dolls would just come out and disappear. But if you're following channels like ours, like Shizu-san's, and keeping an eye on what's happening, you would know that yes, she is really important. She's actually a frontline doll. She came out and went into the frontline section, which you should know that means she's gonna stick around. So the after the part, this like the how you handle it, I don't know. It is unconscionable to me to threaten, chargebacks through PayPal or whatever if you don't swap the dolls.
Right.
Right. I feel like that's going too far. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I don't know.
We're also not privy to these conversations in terms of like, did they go directly for that? Like, if you don't swap this doll for me, I'm just going to do a chargeback.
But I don't care. Like, it shouldn't have come up as far as I'm concerned. Like, you should be doing, like, to me, if Danny can't, I would be like, hey, Danny, sorry, I really hate this. Can you possibly swap things? And Danny does sometimes. If he sometimes can swap things out. It's a burden for them.
It is a burden, and we don't say that he's always going to, but treat him like a human.
Right. And if the answer is no, which I assume it would be, then it's like the secondhand market is available. Like, just sell it.
Yeah, and people know that. I mean, if you've been in this community at all, people know that the dolls sell for what you paid for them, if not more.
Yeah.
Right. I think something like a situation like this, it is possible that maybe this person or this individual is very new to the hobby and maybe not even aware of yours or my channel, so they might not know all the information. And that's fine. Like, if you make a mistake like that, it happens to the best of us. But at that point, like you said, you can send an email, say, I made a really big mistake. I'm new to this hobby. Can you switch it? And if he can't, he can't. You just kind of, I don't know. I just feel like you just kind of roll with the punches and own up to your thing. That this mistake that you made. But just threatening chargebacks, and then not only just threatening chargebacks, it's the whole thing where he's there. At least from the post that Danny Chu posted. I'm not trying to put words in Danny Chu's mouth, but from the post, it seems like they were saying that Danny is intentionally misleading people, and trying to scam people. And that's
like
further from the truth.
That's like, okay, that's like the camp of people who are like, Apple released a new phone a week after I bought a phone, and how dare you? Like, you should tell us about this. Like, well, they do. They tell everyone about it. And everyone knows if they know anything about the company or the release schedule. It's like September, like the first week of September, there's announcements. And then
the second weekish is...
Or sometimes it's like, oh, we can't make enough yet, so it's going to be like October or something like that. But still, like, you have a great product. Like, the buyer's remorse that comes with, like, oh, we don't have the latest and greatest, or we don't... I mean, this is a little bit different. Somebody clearly wanted cinnamon, and they just wasn't available, and they're like, I just gotta have it. But, I don't know. The FOMO is real and understandable, but there are ways around it.
There's also the case of, we know that Danny is having, his audience of children is growing. Like, kids want smart dolls, right?
I don't know why that phrase sounded very strange to me.
Okay, so the people who want smart dolls being children, I used to run a store that did birthday parties for tween girls. And, they would, the parents would pay for them and all of their friends to come and have their hair and makeup done and have, be treated like a princess. In fact, we called the little girls princess. And, it was a big deal. Those moms will not take no for an answer.
Yeah, that's entitled Americans.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but
I'm not saying that that's all of these people that asked for the return, but I'll guarantee that at least one of them was, if not that it was a mom going, my daughter really wanted Cinnamon Future, but I didn't see her available, so I ordered tea.
That's
this
true.
was like a birthday thing, kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
if
could
you
see that happening.
Yeah, and if you don't, I'm just gonna refuse to pay for it.
Right. It's like you said, that I could totally see that happening. It could be, some young child that really wants to get a smart doll, and, a parent that knows nothing about smart doll, just knows the website and that's where you buy it, probably bought it not knowing, the standard procedure of things, I guess, with doll shopping.
Yeah, I will mention, I put forth the question about FOMO and how we deal with it into our Discord, and a whole bunch of people, good conversation going on there. The common threads that I saw was basically setting, setting very strict limits on yourself. Like, I have to connect to it. I've got to have a story behind it. I've got to watch it for a certain amount of time. I've got to basically really making sure that this is the one that they want. And going through, sort of these extra steps before they allow themselves to just buy something. I think that can be a lot harder, and with people who have a little bit more disposable income and just start collecting. And maybe that's where some entitlement comes from. Maybe it's the parent thing. I don't know. But we don't support this. That's and chargebacks in general. Like, that's a whole culture, I think. People, once they figure out that you can do chargebacks, and there's like, I don't want this anymore. It's like everyone suddenly becomes Amazon, where you can return anything, anytime, just by clicking the button.
Right.
I just wanted to quickly address. Jenna asked, yes, I was a club director. She asked, was it Libby Lou where I was working? And I said, yes, Jenna, I was a club director for Club Libby Lou in Connecticut.
That's funny. Let's, Shiza, did you have anything else to add about this?
No, I'm just, it's just one of those things that happens, and it's probably not going to be the first or the last time. Yeah. It's just, I just got to a point now when stuff like this comes out from smartdoll, it's like I'm scared to read the comment section, after like previous things that's happened. Like, it just disheartens me sometimes, like the things that some people do, and I feel bad, in a way, and I don't work for smartdoll, like I'm not Danny Chu's like right hand man or anything like that, but I feel for him. He gets like these complaints and like these things that people send, and it's just weird. Like, I don't know if other companies get this or not. They might. It's just they don't disclose that information. But Danny, discloses it for whatever his reasons may be, and we are privy to reading these messages and seeing what's going on. And it's really disheartening that people do that to either him or any proprietor, that's just trying to sell things.
Yeah, most people, you just don't hear about it.
Yeah.
Like, the companies, they just suck up all the extra work, and Danny's not having it. Let's take a look at our next story. The map of the United States. This heat map is something that Danny has started putting out that shows essentially individual locations that have ordered. So I guess it's like essentially unique shipping locations would be my guess, essentially. You can't really call it owners because, you could have two different owners in the same address, perhaps, or something like that.
Right.
But at least as far as things that are getting shipped, although they might be doing it by, like, Sandy and I might be two blips in the same place because we order certain things separately. I'm not sure.
We have placed, but it just says where the sales are happening. It doesn't say. I think he said it's where the sales are.
Yeah.
So it could be that we're under one because we're under the same address, but whatever. That's minor.
I also would note that these dots, the smallest dots here are the same size as the smallest dot at this view, which basically means that likely that's like that right there. These fainter dots are one place, and if you zoomed in, it would just keep staying that size, and you keep zooming in.
Whereas that big one up north of West Virginia signifies that there are a lot.
Yeah,
there are a lot of owners in that particular area.
Probably if you zoom in, you'll see more discernible dots, separate dots, probably.
Which he said they're specifically not doing because you'd actually be able to discern people's locations.
Yeah. That's one thing that's. Please, people that are watching this or looking at Danny's stories, don't try to zoom in so much to see if you could find and stalk other people in your neighborhood.
These are just pictures, thankfully, and Danny is putting up Danny's system allows him to keep zooming in, he could just keep going, and he sort of stops at a certain point. But I want to point out here, there's the Pittsburgh area.
Yep. That's Western Pennsylvania, mostly around Pittsburgh and the border into Ohio. So we got a lot of folks around us.
Where are you at?
But the one thing I do want to mention, the caveat here, is a lot of those could be, we might not know about those people, in terms of social media and stuff, because it might be kids. It might be dolls purchased for children, and they wouldn't be active in Facebook and et cetera and so forth.
I also think, and this children would probably fall into that. There is there's a good chunk of Danny's customer base that is not on the internet. I know roughly, I think after this channel, looking at channels like yours, she's on, that, and looking at the various groups that are on Facebook, the active online people, it's in the thousands. I don't necessarily think it's in the tens of thousands. At least for smartdoll.
Smartdoll specifically.
Yeah.
Yes. Danny has a large chunk of followers, but they're not all following him because of smartdoll.
Sure.
That's true. Yes. Because before smartdoll, for those that are not familiar, Danny Chu was a huge proponent of anime. He did a lot of anime shows, anime interviews. He worked with companies like Good Smile. He had his own blog. So before dolls, he was pretty well known within the anime community as well. So.
And just Japanese culture in general.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
I think this is very cool that he's doing it. He actually has. Let's move to the next one. He has released the international pictures. Now, again, these things stay within a reasonable size, so you could see what we saw before and look how just overtaken the United States looks like here, which is not a particularly great thing, but it does kind of give you an idea of relative amount. So U.S., clearly a lot there. Europe would be, Europe, and then Japan. Let's take a look at, there's Europe. I don't know if he zooms in. Let's see what the next one is. Yeah.
So quite a good chunk.
Yeah, that's a good chunk.
In the UK.
Looks like more of a following.
Etc.
Yeah,
more of a following in UK than the rest of, I don't know, what is that, Western Europe, I guess?
Yeah, so you've got, there's Luxembourg, there's Netherlands, and then down through, a bunch of, this has more provinces, I think, marked out versus countries.
If you go over and see Poland, we could probably wave at Barb and Alex from Enchantarium because there's actually
which dot is you, Barb? There's the UK, obviously London. Okay, here's a closer picture of Europe. So Paris, I believe, and then, like we said, yeah, Belgium. It's really interesting, and we've got this is.
There's Japan.
And all the way down to Tokyo, which is just like you go to Tokyo and you're surrounded by.
Yeah, there's a lot in Tokyo.
I mean, I don't know how many that actually is, but it does feel interesting that, like, you know, like they are everywhere.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that when I was in Tokyo back in 2019, I was walking around with my Chitose out in, you know, wherever I was, whether it's Akihabara or whatever. And I thought I would run into more doll people, and I actually didn't. I didn't really see anyone walking around with their dolls around there, but there's definitely a lot of stores. And when you go to the stores, that's where you start, you know, meeting.
I was going to say, like, when you were on the street near where, like, Volks is and stuff like that, did you see more people with dolls?
No, I didn't. Well, there's also a lot of people, like, in Tokyo, especially, like, during the busy times. But when I was walking around, I always had Chitose either hanging off of my backpack, or I was just holding her in my arms. But when I went to Volks, I mean, obviously, because Volks is very much so Volks-centric, so I didn't want to bring a smart doll into the Volks store. But I didn't see anyone walking around with their dolls. But once you get into the Volks store, there are a couple of people with their dolls because they have photo booths in there, so you meet a couple owners there and you get to talk to people. But as far as, like, walking around, like, outside, out and about, I didn't really see anybody. And you see pictures on Instagram all the time. I didn't see anyone taking pictures either, which I thought was interesting. I thought I would run into somebody.
Now this, actually I wanted to bring up this. Cornflower Blue says, I wonder how much having a distributor in the US and Germany affects these numbers, and what sort of impact that they've had, you know, on new people. I feel like it's not as big as you think.
Iris has been there in the US for a long time, but she's kind of, like, off out of the way. Like, she's not, like, in the middle of a huge shopping district or anything like that. She's in a plaza, but it's, like, off in a very quiet rural area.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know that plaza is there, just driving through there. There's a lot of, like, horse farms and ranches around there.
Yeah, and also when you think about it, they have limited stock, and they have generally, it's like, it's stuff you probably can't get, but it's like after the fact. Like, they're where you go if you missed out on a doll, that they might get a round of that doll later or something.
And for people who feel like they have to do layaway.
Sure.
You know, that they can't just put $500 on their card in one shot.
Yeah, although
I feel like that's where they get most of their sales, to be honest. I think, you know, because it is a very expensive hobby, and I think the fact that Fabric and Friends offers layaways, I think that is what is a big draw for them. I don't know if Anime Sugoi does the same thing or not,
I believe
but I'm not
do
sure.
Do payments.
Okay. But I mean, doesn't at this point, can't you do it with PayPal?
You can do a pay in 4 with PayPal. Yeah.
But
PayPal
I mean, that's not quite
offer
the same thing. They may, you know, talking to somebody, I suppose, like talking to a small business owner and being able to, like, all right, they may have better options, and, you know, to do layaway.
I think there's still a certain fear of ordering directly from Japan too. Whereas, like, I always tell people, I'm like, you know, it's your best bet is to order directly from Japan. As much as, you know, Iris is a cool lady, and, you know, we had a nice time meeting them. If you can spend under $400 US all at once, it's going to save you a lot of money. And Danny is fantastic with shipping.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is all right. We're gonna pivot here. So
you've got it. You're gonna seg right in.
We're gonna segue right in.
Gonna say.
So here's the thing. In America, it's better to just buy straight from Danny because as a business and with the amount of stuff coming in, Fabric Friends and Dolls ends up having to charge us more, you know, more money. They, you know, charge for import fees and things like that. In the United States, under a certain amount, under
I think it's like
2,000 or something,
2,500
2,500 or
maybe?
something like that, you don't have to pay fees. So the only time we've ever run into an issue, which came up on this channel, was we bought some prototypes and sent it all at once.
And they were prototypes that we knew we had to pay, like Haku, the anime kabuki, the one-shot anime kabuki. We had to have her, and we were not going to risk not getting her, so we paid the top price for her.
So yeah, they were expensive. We ended up buying 2 dolls for about a total of, I don't know, 2,500, 3,000. I forget, something like that.
Yeah.
And we got stopped. FedEx got held up. We had to pay, and we had to register and put all this tax stuff in.
Wow,
most
I've never
people-
actually done that.
You don't. That's the beauty of buying, Smart Doll
We are
straight into the United States. So, outside of the United States, for somebody like Anime Sugoi, I would assume, maybe there's a bit of a markup, but there's a controlled price, and you would actually know exactly how much it is by buying from them if you're in Europe, versus going to going to smartdoll.jp, ordering it, and then getting surprised by the import taxes and everything, which you don't really have a way to get an actual real price on until you get the bill.
Right. I think maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but maybe Anime Sugoi adds a portion of the import tax in the prices for their dolls, and that's kind of like how you get that set price.
It's all marked up to some extent. Yeah. So that, of course, leads us to this tweet from Danny. So he's had issues with this. People have actually been returning, or I shouldn't say returning, they've been failing to pay their import duties. And that means there's nothing to happen except for the government to send, or for DHL or whoever, to send it back to Danny, and they charge him for it. So this has been happening enough in Australia that he has shut down officially essentially all new customers in Australia. If you have an existing, a purchase history, you can keep purchasing from Australia. But across the board, no matter where you are, if you fail to do this, if you fail to pay your import taxes and it has to get returned, you will officially be banned. You will be no longer able to, on an individual basis, able to do this.
Yeah, the ban hammer came down hard.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's very sad, and I'm sure Danny is sad about having to do it, but he has to take a stand on it.
Right. That's a lot of costs that he has to incur, as a retailer, because he's already absorbing the increased cost for shipping. We're not paying that increased cost. He's keeping it at the same cost that it always was. So he's already eating that cost. And then when you don't pay your import tax and it gets shipped back, then he has to pay double that, which really sucks. And he's even more at a loss at that point.
Yeah. I just want to call out Francis K in the chat says, I'm planning on moving to Australia, but scared I won't get more Smarties. And as far as we understand, if you've been buying Smarties, you will be able to continue to buy. Moving might be a thing, but you might have to say, I've bought, I just moved. You have to tell them I just moved. Here's my address of my previous address and my history, and they'll have your email too.
Yeah, that little comment box on the bottom when you buy. Just
Very
put that
important.
in there.
Yep. We had a question from W Coordinator. They asked Lee, but we could probably address it quickly.
It's okay. Well, since we're W Coordinates, Danny's tweets are not coming to Discord more. Sorry, the bot is dealing with issues from Twitter's code-based changes, and hopefully they'll have that fixed so you can get your notifications back in Discord.
Yeah, it's hopefully temporary.
So we have. What was I gonna say? Now, ADHD moment. What do we? Is this too? What do you think he could do differently at this point. I know he is. Oh, I should bring this up before we get into that. He did ask people to basically reply to this Twitter thread with their experiences, with various fees and things like that. So, and he said he's going to link to this thread from the website. The main problem I see with this is it's hard to like find your stuff. You have to read through a bunch of stuff, and a lot of it's just random. And there's varying degrees of this. We actually put up a forum on our Discord with that people could do a similar thing, but it's like each post is a country, so it's a little bit more organized.
So if you want to go and add to that, go look for your country and add to the thread that is your country.
But beyond that, she's on what do you think he could do more to let people know, and to like, because like other than just this and the check boxes that you have to sign up. And thank you, Queen Nova Dolls. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Queen Nova.
Sorry, I sort of ran into that.
No, that's okay. I don't know, because when I try to think of like different ways that he can resource around this so that he doesn't have to ban like all Australian buyers, it requires, I feel like, more man hours, because then if you have like a certain amount of team members or one team member devoted to vetting accounts, that's one less person that can make doll apparel or put together dolls or do the shipping, because he has a very small team of people. So to be able to allocate some resources to be able to verify buyers' ability to, I guess, be in good standing with the company would definitely take up more manpower.
I don't even know that he could really. I mean, they do verify. Like, I don't know. Like, what would he even?
I mean, they obviously,
with a new person.
If the doll got shipped, they obviously went through the Newbie
questionnaire.
Email,
yeah,
the questionnaire. They answered that.
I guess he could put like, do you know how much your import fees are going to be? But then he's got to track. I think this comes down to like, there is a path that he could take, which is, I don't necessarily expect him to, but dedicating resources to more trying to stay on top of this, the resources for this stuff, like versus just crowdsourcing it to everyone like this on Twitter. But again, then you run into, is it up to date?
Danny Chu is also a computer person. Like, if I'm not mistaken, he used to do a lot of computer programming and stuff like that. I wonder, and I'm not a computer person, so I don't know if this is feasible or not, but I wonder if he could create some kind of program or something for his website. Because when you go to purchase smart dolls, like right under the price in yen, it says, what is this in your currency?
Yep.
I wonder if there's a way he can put, what is this with your currency with import tax?
I do not think so. I do not think it exists. I mean, you need the data to come from somewhere. And, there's not, like, there are central, like, he doesn't even do a currency. Well, he does sort of an estimate, I don't think, but it's not the best estimate that I've seen. And it's not like tying into Google. But there are services out there that have those things that you can tie into. I don't know of anything like that for import fees, because they are so varied and they depend on so many like variables.
Yeah, every country has different variables for what gets taxed and at what point, and like even us, like I said, like using the US as an example, we don't get taxed on toys until you've spent over like something like $2,500 or something like that in one order. And then it's, I mean, we didn't pay that much extra. We paid extra, but not like what I'm seeing other people are paying in other countries.
Right.
Interesting. Sonia Gruler says, what about a vouching system? Have newbies connect with Aussie collectors. It's easy to avoid being hit with import tax. Keep the total purchase, including shipping, under 1,000. That's the other thing, is like, they're like us. But if you order enough, which you can, like, you buy a smart doll. If it's your first doll, I know anybody's first doll is probably going to hit 1,000 easily because you're buying the doll, and then you're buying an outfit.
You outfit, maybe a bust.
Yep.
You know,
Shoes,
hand
packs,
packs.
yes.
Yeah.
It very quickly adds up, but that information is what's important to know. Like, what do you need to stay under, or where do you go to get this information? I think it would be nice if he could, like, instead of linking to this, maybe had a page where he collected from this stuff, like, links and URLs to, like, for each country of, like, go here to check out, what you might
That's
have to
true.
pay.
Yeah. But then he would have to, I guess he would have to make like a page full of like almost every or the most common country links, I guess you could say.
Exactly. And that's like, it's never gonna, it's one of those things, like, the more effort you put into this, the more you open yourself up to people being pissed at you.
Hold on, my chair.
No worries.
I mean, the idea has been brought up too of like, well, that means, like, maybe you maybe you buy for other people. But, the thing is if you buy for other people in your country, if you're like, say you're an established Aussie collector and you buy for someone, you run the risk of buying for someone who's been banned. Or, and then if it ever gets found out, then
You might get banned.
You
in
might
return.
get banned too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
true.
it's just not a safe, clear-cut thing to do.
Well, for right now, at least in the near future, he's banning all Australian newcomers. I mean, that may change later on. We don't know. I mean, that's obviously something that may change. But it's kind of like, you guys ever watch Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park?
Yep.
And Jeff Goldblum plays that character, the chaos theorist. And he says, life finds a way. And I feel like it's the same thing. Like, Aussie buyers, like, especially brand new Aussie buyers, if they really want a smart doll, they're going to find a way. There's going to be some way that they're going to do to get their hands on a doll. I don't...
And that does make me wonder, it's like, then maybe, maybe someone, this is also an opportunity this is an opportunity for a small business in Australia to start actually partnering with Danny, and to be an official, retailer.
This is true, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And now you've got somebody who's definitely paying the import tax legitimately, and is then allowing people to buy it.
And I will say, we know that, or at least it is our understanding that Danny does provide his list to at least Fabric Friends and Dolls and Anime Sugoi.
His list?
Like, of people, like the banned people.
Oh, you're talking about, like, in terms of, like, it's not a great idea. It's not a great idea to buy for somebody else in general. Like, it's not. You shouldn't do it.
A lot
the
can go
vouching
wrong.
idea maybe is a different, as long as you're not buying for them, but still, you're putting your own relationship with this company at stake for somebody else. Which that's like people who are like, oh, can I drive your car? No. Are you covered? Yeah, but no. Like, like no one, like, I don't care. I'm just not, like, why take the risk?
And let's just be clear that this is not just Australia. Danny has said that it happens everywhere. So we're not like he's not just, putting the hammer down on Australia because he doesn't like Australians.
Yeah, but he did have, 5 Australian returns in one day, which is essentially triggered it. Like, that's a lot.
I guess Australia, and I don't really know what it is, but I guess Australia has a very high import tax comparatively to other countries, I suppose. Like, for it to be so common coming from Australia?
20% tax, I think, something like that. But again, not if it's under 1,000. If it's under 1,000, then it doesn't matter. But yeah, once it gets over that threshold, it's like it's not a VAT, but it's about the same as, like, European as well. It's that lovely 20% off the top is so high. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. It's not like it's a small amount. And I'm wondering, did Australia have a change to their import taxes recently, and were people taken by surprise?
No, I mean, I think there was, but it's just like everything. There was there were changes. I'm just remembering from going through the taxes stuff for our, the T-shirt side of the channel, and there were certain rules and but it's mostly for filing if you're outside and stuff like that. Like those are all the rules that typically are changing now, and they're cracking down essentially on global sales. Like people who are not filing for taxes, who are selling outside, stuff like that. But Australia is, as somebody already mentioned in chat, it's $1,000 and less, and you're good.
Right. 1,000 Australian dollars.
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, you can still buy a doll and maybe like a doll and a bust or something like that and not pay those extra fees.
Yeah.
If they were ordering grays or something, then that would take them up and over, and maybe that surprises them. I don't know.
The last thing I wanted to mention here is I've been thinking about what Danny could do, and my thought is just like more discovery, because all he has right now, for the most part, is the checkbox in the that you can actually get rid of, and then once you do, you never see it again. And I'm thinking he needs to add anywhere there's a price. He needs to put something here underneath that price that says, I would even do like. Live outside the U.S., find out, about your import, duties or whatever. Something that just grabs people attention in the moments where they care about money, which is going to be here, and then in the, assumedly, oh, hey, we're getting the thing. So here it is. And they agree, and they hit okay. Well, I'd have to go through this, so I won't get it. But on that final screen, although I don't know how much of a pain in the butt it is to add stuff to this part, but I mean, it's all Shopify based, so it should be templates that could be editable, that he could maybe add some pieces in.
Just like this price does not include your import fees.
Yeah,
right.
Like
yeah, import fees not included.
This total does not reflect import fees that you may or may not occur, or something of that nature.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think you need to be more like tell people they have import fees even if they don't, because it's better to scare like it's better to scare the Americans than lose money to all the people outside of America.
Yeah, I guess we're just lucky. I mean, are there, because I've never researched it, are there other countries that, like us, that do not incur import taxes?
Well, again, I mean, Australia is similar to us, except we have a higher price point.
You have a higher price point, yeah.
So there, I think definitely, yeah.
We can buy a lot more before we actually see a fee.
And I know we also have particular, like there's also the relationship between Japan and the United States possibly at play as well. But so I mean, unfortunately, it's all it's never quite as simple as like this is how much something is.
And we do have stuff if it happens to be, toys, which is what we are all doing. It happens to be that toys in the US is something that has that exception, whereas you might pay import fees on certain other things that you buy. I don't know. I don't buy much internationally besides dolls.
Yeah.
It's funny. The only thing I buy internationally is the dolls or model kits. That's about it.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break for something before we get back to the Q&A segment, and that is, of course, hey, are you enjoying this video? You should like it. We should tell you, if you click that like button, it really helps us out and helps get this video out to more people, and hopefully let more people know that they need to pay their taxes. And of course, taxes obviously is easy segue into our favorite part of the show, the Smarty Party.
We came to party all night long. Let's sing on to came to party all night long and sing along to every song. We don't need nobody's attention, don't need nobody else in our zone.
Hey! Gotta love that Smarty Party. And a big thank you to W. Corden for the super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Let's see if we have any questions. And of course, if you have any questions about the news, but also questions for Shizu-san.
Yeah, throw out those questions. I'm willing to
throw them
answer
out.
whatever.
Tell them to us. Don't waste them.
But I do want to say, because I was talking to John and Sandy while you guys were watching the video, you guys have an amazing chat. Everybody in chat, give yourselves a big thumbs up. You guys are amazing over there.
Yep. Take out Handpack 1. I did want to also shout out Mimico Minis for taking over that for me.
Wait, which hand pack has the clap?
Has the flat hands for clapping.
Is
Take
that
out-
set
Is
two?
it two?
I think it's
Take
two.
out hand pack 2 and give yourselves a hand.
Y'all, do we need a T-shirt for, take out Handpack 1?
I don't know.
Thumbs up shirt.
I still have to. I mean, I don't know. I'll think about it.
And speaking of that, you should mention the shirt that you're wearing because I think
we'll go back
everybody
to-
that has watched this video has earned this.
Yep. And I realized I was like, I thought I launched this, but maybe I didn't. I couldn't find it on the website, so I'll double check if it's launched, and if it's not, we'll see. But yeah, I understood the assignment. So yeah, where are we going? Back to let's get some discussion going.
That's a lot of thumbs up, people.
Dolly Girls Pancake says, "Do you mind if I name my new Survivor Hero? It just suits her so well."
I honestly would. It's fine with me. I took the name from Shakespeare, so you feel free to name your girl hero.
Yeah, we can't monopolize names. If we did, like,
Yeah.
although I will say, I have a thing about like our closer friends, like like other YouTubers, like Kat and stuff, or like I try to avoid names that they've chosen.
Right.
But you can only go so far with that.
And also mostly
Yeah, that's
avoiding
true.
the names Danny has given to other dolls. Like there's been times where I've wanted to name a doll something that is already the name of a different doll, and I'm like, no, that's not gonna work.
She's just on. What's your favorite way to name dolls? How do you come up with them?
You know what? I get asked that question a lot. Most of my dolls just have the original names that they came with. So this is Moment and T. She'll always be Moment for me. Or like if
Okay.
it's another doll company, whatever name the doll was, I usually keep it. Unless it's like a custom doll, which I've made 3 custom dolls. And so they had no name, so I had to give them a name. But I usually just keep them as whatever names they have.
You have a lot of collab dolls too, so they're actually a character.
Yeah, I do. I'm a huge collector of collab dolls, so most of them already have their own personas and names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone who's a character for us at like like Supergirl, Batgirl, they always
They keep their name, and we kept Haruka and Mirai are Haruka and Mirai.
Right, because those are Danny's characters. Like
Right.
Yeah.
anybody who was, if they have an anime version of themselves for Danny, then they usually keep that name.
Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, there was one that I named because for those that don't know, I'm a huge fan of Chitose. And I got myself a Chitose multiverse. And I didn't want to call her Chitose Multiverse all the time, so I kind of gave her her own name, and she was Chizuka. So she's still a
That's
Chi,
cute.
A little,
but she's
little play on the name.
little play on the name. So yeah, so I did kind of name one. Yeah.
Nice. Another one from Dolly Girls Pancakes. Do you think Danny will release more marble option parts, or maybe random drops like blue or gray parts?
You're
I
talking
don't
about
know.
like Survivor, right? Like that kind of marbling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only marble doll at this point. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you can use like you can use like for the hands and stuff like that. You just look at like is your doll, what looks better on them, tea hands or cinnamon hands? Because marble is just cinnamon and tea blended.
Yep.
So you just want to look at like their limb and go, what do you like the look of better? You know.
Yeah. If you got a bunch of skin tones and you can mix and match and figure that out, that's helpful because it may be different. Like you may have a tea on the left hand and a
Right.
cinnamon on the right.
Right.
But I would expect more marble option parts. I mean, at least busts. I don't think hands. I don't think he's going to do marble hands, but it's just...
I think the marble medium bust went to discounted.
Did it?
I think so. But that could be,
I feel like
I mean...
there's a possibility maybe he would do a marble like gray, but that would only be like if he had like a surplus amount of materials that he just wanted to play around with. That's my assumption.
Yeah, I mean, a marble gray would be amazing, but he's going to have to come up with another color. Whereas before, he took tea and cinnamon and mixed them together to create that marble. Gray, there's only one gray, and so he would have to make a lighter gray.
Yeah, or use milk maybe, but that he's already said no more milk.
But that's way too light. I'm talking like, for me, marble gray would be like he's the somewhere around what he's doing with Courage. We've seen the pictures of Courage and that's painted. But
Right.
I would assume a similar, maybe a little bit darker tone.
Well, what he could do is maybe, and I'm just spitballing ideas here. What if
Go
he
for
takes
it.
like mixing the gray with cocoa, and you can have like a gray black marble kind of like look. That may look cool. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess that the idea is cool. I don't think the execution would end up looking good because of the warm brown that cocoa is mixed with the very cool gray. I think that's just my guess. It's not to say that he wouldn't or hasn't already tried it, but that's a very cool thought though.
I got another one for you.
All right.
Gray and multiverse metallic.
Yes, that's it.
Ooh,
That's it.
that would be would
That's
be
it.
pretty good. That would be pretty good. But the metallic that he uses now, isn't that more so electroplating rather than just actual vinyl?
He does have
parts?
a multiverse metallic that he's working on
No,
for a doll though.
it's
A
yeah.
vinyl.
Oh, okay.
It's-
Okay.
It's vinyl and so yeah, he does metal, but he's and he does casting, but he actually has the frame and I believe vinyl in this sort of shiny metallic, not shiny, but I don't know. He said it took him a while to figure out how to get it at the right sort of like not looking cheap. But I don't think we've ever seen it we've seen it in the frame, not in.
I think we saw like a torso or
Did we?
something. Yeah, I'm not positive, but I think we did.
All right, let's move on. Alejandro Brava, this one's easy. Do we have any updates on Vampire or C2? Did I miss C2? No, and no.
Okay, yes. We do know that there is a new there is a frontline doll coming out who Danny
here we
is
go.
writing the description for.
Yeah.
It could be an option head that didn't because option heads never got a bio. So it could be that one of the option heads needs to get a body and become an actual doll and get that. It could be Vampire Girl.
Sandy has been talking about Vampire Girls coming for like the past week.
And the thing is, the reason I think Vampire Girl might be a frontline girl because he talked about her story being about like, coming back. Like when somebody beats you down, you keep coming back. And I also have a new guess on the name.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
What's
go.
the name?
Okay, knowing that Danny, Danny with his all of his like 80s, 90s and everything, like the sci-fi and stuff like that, and the nostalgia bit with Indiana Jones and all of that business, I'm going Goonies.
Okay. Chunk.
Oh,
Is it Chunk?
is it?
Nope. And thinking of Danny's like current naming conventions, I'm gonna guess Never Say Die.
possible.
Considering he's moved on to full phrases for his names,
Yeah, he's moved on to full phrases.
you might have something here.
Yeah, and if it's not, Danny, it's a freaking good name.
Yeah, never say die. I mean, because
Yeah.
you got Goonies, but you've also, isn't that Bond, or am I conflating it with a
That's
different...
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die, yeah. All right. Never say...
Yeah, Goonies never something and Goonies never say die. Isn't that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go in a different direction.
What did you think?
When she started
okay.
saying like things about the 90s and the 80s, I was like, oh my god, is she going to say Buffy? I was like, I thought you were going to like hint towards Buffy.
All right, Buffy would be too, like...
That's a license. And
Yeah, it's a bit on the nose.
And Danny, I would just die if you actually did Buffy. Yeah, Buffy. Like, give me Buffy and Willow.
All right.
All
right, we gotta move on. Magic Dirty says, what is an item not licensed or restricted that you would want patterns for, or is there any that you would draft yourself to get? So we're seeing. Okay, so of Danny's stuff, I mean, for me, the wedding dresses.
Yeah, the wedding dresses.
dresses.
I've actually said this to John before, and I don't think I've said it openly to anybody else. I would love, and you know how he does the annual wedding dress? I would love an annual shoe.
Ooh.
Like, partner with his dad and make us, like, a really fabulous,
special
expensive
shoe.
smart doll shoe. Like a really, like, an awesome sandal or a really cool boot, like those Sailor Moon boots that his dad's
gosh.
doing.
Yeah, Danny, Miranda here needs some new Jimmy Choos. Come on.
It's true. That would be a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
I like the idea of just like well, all right. So the idea of limited, and this is like, especially him saying they're limited, like this is the 2023 edition, because everything is mostly anyway with Danny, because he is just always thinking of something new anyway, and it's just cycling through ideas. So I think, yeah, like give us an exclusive something that's available for like a month, or one round or 2 rounds, probably, because people will. But I'm talking people will go insane. Make enough. That's
they
all.
would be like, just like the wedding dresses. He doesn't make a ton of them. Like, they'd make it like a really exclusive small run of some really, really fab shoe. Like,
Yeah, I'd
that
be
would
down
be cool.
for that.
And it could be like a crazy shoe, but it could just be like a really nice shoe.
What about you, Shizu-san?
If I were to pick a pattern, I don't believe he released this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a shirt that he did like way back in the day that I always wanted. I never got my hands on either. Was he called it the Smexy shirt? It was like a nice, I guess, satiny kind of like blouse, but it had open shoulders. So it had
the open
sleeves.
shoulder shirt, yeah.
Yeah, but it had sleeves, but it had the open shoulders. I think he called it the Smexy shirt. I
think
could
he's
be
referred
wrong.
to it as that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That was
always
one of the
wanted
first
that
things
and
that
never
we
got
bought.
one.
Yeah, we got one of those, and then we got one in Chaos and sold it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one, Danny. That's a good. Then that's one of his. So that would
That would
be
be
a good pattern.
a good
to release.
pattern. I would like to see that one.
I don't know how he does. I mean, I'm assuming he owns all of them, so it doesn't matter probably. But how he feels about like patterns that were created by like Mariko Haru or something like that for him. Like, but would he put those out?
I don't know if any of those ones. We don't know if they did any of the ones that he's already released.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I think
like the Sequoia jacket.
the
might
Sequoia
be-
jacket, right? I think that's a
Yeah.
Mariko Haru
yeah,
design.
No, okay. I wasn't sure if it was something that he had done before or if something that he even would, but it looks like he did. Canal says, after all this import talk, I'm wondering if I'm the weird one for calculating all the additional fees and stuff ahead of time. No,
No,
you're just
no.
You
smart.
understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you understood the assignment exactly. Definitely did.
I don't know why Mag Durgan said clap, but we'll go on. Queen Nova Dolls asks, was there a doll you regretted not getting?
Well, you've been doing this longer. You've been in the Smart Doll game longer than us, Shizu-san. So you've seen quite a few go through. What do you regret not getting?
What are your big misses?
I think I have two. So obviously, because I'm a Chi fan, I missed out on Coco Chi, and I and not just the Coco we have now, but the original Coco, where it was kind of like
sort of purple.
Yeah, it was like a little lavendery. So I did miss out on her, but other than that, Twilight, I missed out on, which is one that I would like to have. But I don't know. Maybe it'll come out of Cryo at some point. Who knows?
I mean, it's always possible. Like,
Yeah, it's
not
possible.
Like, you know, it's not like they haven't, unless they're just really not making that head, you know, anymore or something like that. But it's also possible
I
that
actually
he, like,
don't know.
redo them on a new sculpt or something.
Yeah, I don't know what head he used for Twilight. Actually, I'm not sure.
It should be listed in our archive, but we are way over
I'm
time,
always
so I'm
bad
not
at
gonna go looking
recognizing
it up.
sculpts.
I can't think of any, honestly, for myself. I mean, I still want Beyond, and she's still like top of my list, and she's still available,
And she's frontline.
So I'm just not worried about it. Like, I haven't had,
Right.
I don't know. We've been pretty good about getting the ones that we want.
Yeah, I mean, I have Coco and T Future on my list, mostly to round out my collection, and I'm waiting for Vampire Girl. But dolls that have passed, I can't think of anybody.
No, this is like a horrible answer to this question.
A moment in T. I wouldn't mind
A
having
moment in tea.
Yes. Like a moment of tea. That's our new segment. It's the gossip segment. It's a moment of tea.
It's a moment of tea.
Yeah. All right. Mimigo Minis, what time and days do you stream, Shizu-san? Asking because I've never seemed to remember when they are and always end up missing the streams. Well, first of all, you should subscribe and hit that bell for notifications.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're not familiar with my content, I usually release videos every single Friday. So one Friday will be the news, which is a pre-recorded video. And then the Friday afterwards would be the live stream. So it's always Friday. The live streams are every other Friday. And I usually do it at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, it's not the most ideal time for a lot of people, but it's when I have free time to do it. So it's pretty much why the time is that time.
That is the most, like, you know, when's the best time to live stream? It's honestly the time that you're capable of live streaming.
Yeah, pretty much. And since I don't have much of a party life on Fridays, I'm free Friday night to do it.
I find this hard to believe, Shizu-san.
No, I'm an old man. I got kids and the missus to look out for. I can't be doing partying.
All right, another one for you. Akiroko asks, how many smart dolls do you have, Shizu-san? If you don't mind answering, which I always feel like should be.
Yeah.
I don't mind answering. I have... Oh, I'm trying to count. So I keep them in a display case at 6 to a shelf. So I'm at 12 dolls right now. Currently 12 smart dolls and 3 floating heads.
But then you also have a large Dolphy Dream collection.
Yes.
Correct.
And so my Dolphy Dreams are at 15, I believe, is 15 Dolphy Dreams. And that's... I have more Dolphy Dreams mostly because Dolphy Dream came out before Smart Doll. So I was buying them before, you know, the Smart Doll actually released. Yeah, so about 15.
And they do a lot more anime collabs. You like the collab dolls, and they do more anime collabs than Danny does.
I'm a big fan of like collecting anime stuff. So the anime collabs really speak to me a lot. So most of my characters are anime collabs, and the only ones that aren't are my smart dolls, which are non-collabs, but mostly the smart dolls.
Do you have countdown clocks for C2 and Naruto?
Speaking of which, that's our next question. We know the dolls ask, are you planning on getting C2, Shizu-san?
I'm hoping to. You know, the way that things work with Smart Doll nowadays, where everybody pretty much has to really keep an eye out for that at Smart Doll Land tweet that comes out. You know, if I'm lucky and I'm able to be quick with my ninja skills, I will get her. But, you know, it's fair game for everybody. Everybody has the same equal amount of chance. So I hope to get her. That's the plan.
Let's see. K Pixie Wings asks, why has there never been sneakers from Danny?
I believe there has.
There was. I have them, actually. It's too bad she's in the display case. I can't get her right now, but I do have a pair of sneakers. They came out in red, and I believe very, very limited edition. They had a purple, which I missed out on. And then I think that was the only colors that they released for sneakers.
Let's see if I
But
can
it's the
find...
same. The sneakers look like the
original
ones that you
is the
see,
Smartdoll store.
in a lot of different places. It's like a Converse kind of looking, I think, something like that.
Weather
to that
canvas
effect.
shoe.
Canvas shoe, yeah.
It looks very much like the AliExpress crap.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah, that one. Yeah, it looks like the AliExpress one, which I think they copied Danny. Yeah, there it is.
which really so just buy the really inexpensive ones on all. That's like the cheapest shoe you can buy.
Yeah.
for
The only
Smartdoll.
difference is obviously if you get the Smartdoll one, it'll have the Mirai tag on it. But
Yeah.
that's
And these
about
are
it.
better size. These
Yeah,
are
those
a little bit
actually-
smaller.
Yeah, I'm sure he was very
Hmm.
particular about those when they did them.
Yeah, they fit snug. But yeah, I do have the red ones, and that's about it.
All right, let's see. A couple more questions. Cornflower Blue asks, what is your favorite clothing item that you own?
Well, I'm not really partial to
Do
this
it.
sweatshirt.
I was like, I'm not going to do it.
What is my favorite clothing item?
Well,
that we
obviously,
own?
it's the cloud sweater I just bought you.
Right.
Wait.
my cloud
When
sweater.
we're talking clothing item, this is clothing item that we're wearing or
no,
dolls?
Smartdoll.
we just won't let the bit die, apparently. I mean, most of the things that it's the stuff you end up making that I think is like ridiculous, and we just keep them in forever. But my favorite thing that we have here is not the Madame du Smarty dress. It's the undergarments for the dress. It's the huge,
The panniers and the
panniers, yeah.
corset that I made. Thank you.
But that's not what That's not what you're asking.
Well, I mean, obviously we have the white tiger, the Tora Kigurumi.
Oh, kigurumis are good.
That's a big favorite.
Which reminds me, we need to do a haul video still.
Yep. We have a whole bunch of stuff from DollCon that we have DollCon Dallas
Jeez.
that we haven't shown you
They
yet.
really should just switch the name because nobody says DollCon Dallas.
Yeah, like I went to get stuff from Dallas Dollco at DollCon Dallas. But we have a whole bunch of stuff from that we haven't shown off yet. And speaking of that, we already do have one video up about DollCon Dallas, and it is a video of me hanging out with Kat. And if you are envious of people, after looking at Danny's maps, if you're envious of all those people that have lots of dots around them, go watch our video. You get to see me and Kat in the same room for the very first time, chatting. And we had such
Being
a fun
stupid.
time doing it. So go watch that, and then go subscribe to her channel if you're not already subscribed.
Shizu-san, what's your favorite clothing item on a smart doll? I will be specific this time.
My favorite one, I think, out of everything I own is probably the lavender bubble jacket that I got from Smart Doll.
I didn't see you got
love
so
that-
much stuff
that
that
jacket.
we
don't
missed
have
so
that,
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lavender bubble jacket is probably my favorite. Followed in close place was the parachute pants. I love those pants. Mirai never takes them off. She's always wearing them.
So the
parachute
bubble
pants are
jacket,
great.
I'm assuming, was probably a Maruka Halu piece.
It was no, it's I think it was a Maruka Halu inspired, like a co-project that they did together.
Yeah.
I
Right.
believe that's what it was. But I think if you go to Maruka Halu and buy it straight from hers, I think it's actual bubble jacket material.
Yep.
Which the one that Danny Chu released is actually like a cloth material.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's not like a nylon or something. It's like actual cotton bubble jacket.
Michelle Murphy says, who is y'all favorite smart dolls? I mean, everyone knows this for us, but
Yeah, mine's Chitose, for those that don't know already.
OG
The
Chitose,
original,
yeah.
original OG Chitose, yeah. Who's not here on this video because Moment needs her time to shine too, so.
But she was in Japan with you on your series
Yes.
of Japan vlogs, so.
Yes, which I need to finish at some point in time.
I don't think you ever should, because like it's been so long at this point.
I know, it's been so long, but you know, people still ask for it.
Yeah, I know. You got to keep
I'm gonna
them
go to
wanting
Japan
more.
again, so I'll just start over when I go to Japan again. I'll just make a new
We want to get
vlog.
there so badly. It's just figuring out how we could do it.
I just know we're not gonna like. We need to go with like a team of people just to be able to do something like that, because I won't. I won't take out my video camera.
I'm tentatively planning, hopefully, if everything works out right, this December, to go to Japan. If not, maybe February or March. But it's very tentative. You know, I've been saying it on my channel a lot of time. I'm still trying to save, so it all depends if I meet my quota of saving.
All right, looks like we got one more question here. Are there from Piano Nomad? Are there any updates of when or if a male smart doll will be released? We've had updates. Nothing new since the update we had, but all we know now is that he was, I don't know, inspired is the right word, but the new Evolve frame has solved a lot of the problems with the boys, and he is working on a new Coco Boy, is what he teased.
Yeah.
So we don't know when necessarily, but we're hoping in the next. We're hoping to at least see more in the next few months at least,
Right.
And maybe a release before like we get into like maybe between like C2 and Naruto or something.
Yeah, I was
knows?
gonna say if anything, the next boy might be Naruto.
That's what I
released.
said a couple weeks ago when we were asked.
I don't count that though, because that's not a. I mean, it's a licensed doll, and he's like he's not gonna be anything other than that. But yeah, boys coming back and getting multiple boys is I think it's happening this year, unless something goes weirdly wrong.
Yeah, we don't know about boy. I want to see this Coco Boy, but because I really want to see his wig with his wig on and everything, because it looks like he has like a long braids wig on, which looked really cool.
Yep.
But yeah, boys, I don't know. I don't even know if we'll even get any more boys. We're gonna have to see what happens. I'm more interested in the pear-shaped body than I am a boy. But of course, the pear-shaped body could be quite a while. And he's just started this idea, so.
But the one thing you can count on is that when Danny sets his mind to something, he really goes the gusto for it.
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But you know that like he'll do everything he can to make it happen.
You're going to just see a bunch of prototypes randomly posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course we've also got Smart Doll Plus on their way too, which we may see that before we see the boys. We don't know.
I think that's more possible. Yeah.
I don't know which is more important to him, but like one boy doll where he can just like put the boy parts on a Vol frame, I feel like that's a smaller thing to solve versus building an entire new frame, a plus size Evolve frame.
Right. Whereas for this, all he has to do is like he's got the whole shell is done for the girls, for the plus girls.
Yeah.
He just needs to make the frame.
But the shell is done for the boys.
True.
Unless
they
he's
have to be
changing
changed.
it. Yeah.
But I think that was his whole point, is I don't have to change it. Right? Like that was I mean I still would love to see what he would change it to if he were to do him over, but I think what he was saying and what was in that picture was that it's just going to be the same it's just like I don't have to do much. I can use, I don't know, who knows. We don't know. That's the answer. Hopefully this year. All right, let's just double check with chat. No other last minute stuff. Looks good. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Shizu-san, for joining us on our first ever guest host on the Smart Doll News.
Yeah, it was fun, and it seemed to went fairly without a hitch.
Thank you for having me. I am honored. I'm honored to be the first guest. This is pretty cool. And like I said, your chat's amazing.
The chat is amazing, and
The chat is amazing.
Chat, we love you.
Yes, we love you, chat. You guys are great.
Wait. All right, I gotta say, in the 3 up here, you looking over at me is just weird. It looks so weird.
It's like Hollywood Squares.
I know, but
Like-
but it's
Yes,
not though.
yes.
You expect when you do this on TV, you expect everyone to be looking for everyone's looking at the camera. Anyway, I think that is going to do it for us. We will, if I can find my button, we will absolutely see you all next week. If you enjoyed Shizu-san, you should definitely check out his channel on YouTube. And if you're looking for a good conversation, check out that live stream every other Friday nights. It's a lot of fun.
Before we go, can I mention
Yes.
one last thing?
Absolutely.
Just really quickly, guys. Coming this May, there's going to be a convention out in Pennsylvania called Thy Geekdom Con. So me and my friend Tempest and a couple others, we have a booth at the convention specifically for dolls. There's going to be a giveaway for a free doll. We're going to have photo booths there as well, and some merch that's going to be available there. So please, if anybody wants to come out and hang out and just talk doll stuff, it's a small con. It's not like huge like Anime NYC, but it's a really nice hometown con. And if anyone within the Pennsylvania, Jersey, New York area that's willing to drive out, definitely come by. It's called Thy Geekdom Con. It's in May. I forgot the actual date, but it is in May. And I think the description is somewhere. It's in the description somewhere. I think John has it in there. But if you guys want to come out and just talk doll stuff and just hang out, definitely come out and come see us.
Can you just repeat for me the what kind of, is it just an anime convention?
It's like a pop culture convention. So
Okay.
there's anime stuff, there's comic book stuff, there's video game stuff, and then this year is going to be the first year that we're actually going to have a doll section. So definitely come out, hang out and just talk doll stuff. It'll be great.
cool.
Gaming was part of it. Like I think there was like board gaming too, right? Like,
Yeah, there's board gaming there as well. Yep.
yeah. So basically anything traditional geek.
Thank you for putting that link in the chat there, Lee. And shout out to Lee, our one of our awesome moderators.
Yes, thank you, Lee.
Of course, Danny meowed in the chat just a minute ago. So meow, Danny.
Meow, Danny.
Meow, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's morning for him. So, Nyampasu.
No, Danny, you could take my limelight anytime.
Pleasure having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Gotta do this again. I'm set up.
Yeah, it was
for
tons
now.
of fun. And
Definitely
I want you
longer.
guys back on my channel. I have some interesting topics that I think the two of you would be good for. So
Happy
definitely
to.
gonna have you
We're
back.
also happy to just stalk your live chat and disrupt things.
No, it's totally fine. Totally fine. There's a drop, Danny. Boobian grop dollop.
Boobian Grop Dollop.
A gray girl.
A gray.
A gray vampire?
With,
Wait, really, Danny? Danny, why do you got to keep doing this to me, man? I'm trying to save money to visit you in your home, man. Like I'm trying to go to Japan.
come on.
You're making all these
Please.
wonderful things drop.
FOMO is real, people.
It's
We
never-
just
I know,
talked
right?
about this, and now we're all like, oh my god.
Danny is never say die dropping.
Oh my goodness.
Danny's gonna go have a moment of tea. And we all suggest you do the same and get ready for the drop, apparently, that wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was coming? I thought it wasn't coming, and then, no, that was last night.
I don't know. That was
I think
last
it was
night, I think,
yesterday,
yeah.
yeah. So, enjoy the drop. Hopefully it's something that you like, but don't buy it unless you really, really, really
Please.
want it and are willing to pay,
your duty.
Pay your import duty.
Pay your duties.
Pay your duties. All right.
That's all for us,
that's our-
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Shizu-san, and bye.
Bye.